The Nissan Corporation has announced that it will not continue its policy of diversity, equality, and inclusion, as behind the beautiful slogans, there is discrimination against white and heterosexual Americans. Before our eyes, another leftist ideology is going away to the dustbin of history, all thanks to the decisive electoral victory of Donald Trump. What are the consequences?
Donald J. Trump!
For decades, Donald Trump has been saying the same thing. The United States is plagued by the cancer of political correctness and forcing the implementation of LGBT slogans, leading to discrimination against the white and heterosexual majority of the U.S. No more of this.
And for all of us standing before you today, I can proudly proclaim that the golden age of America is upon us. It is.
At first, the mainstream media laughed at him. During his first term, they accused Trump of backwardness. Today, big corporations, one by one, are abandoning long-standing policies of so-called inclusiveness. They have spent tens of billions of dollars to do so. So-called inclusivity professionals take at least $100 an hour on hand, and their annual salaries reach hundreds of thousands of dollars. However, the November 5th elections have restored common sense. Promotion is to be determined by knowledge and experience, and political correctness professionals? Let them look for other useful work. It will be a tragedy for the huge number of American civil servants who will be deprived of funding and salaries in the coming year. It won't be a happy year for them, but it could be a happy year for the American economy and American society. DEI's equality policies are wreaking havoc on the U.S. administration and U.S. corporations, but also on U.S. universities. DEI stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. DEI was a way to find a place of employment for people who went through worthless studies, like gender studies, Afro studies, which were created in American universities, for which these people paid a lot of money. HR professionals believe that diversity is the presence of people of different gender, age, race, ethnicity, and sexual orientation in a company. Equality is giving them equal opportunities, meaning eliminating discriminatory practices and striving for social justice. Finally, inclusion is creating an environment where everyone feels accepted, valued, and can actively participate in the life of the organization. We have a situation where a group of radicals after the death of George Floyd in 2020 imposed a crazy vision of equality and non-discrimination, but that vision was a long way off for Americans. DEI's version of this Marxist, critical race theory was an obsession with someone being white, with not being able to transcend their racial identity. Many people didn't like it, but were afraid to speak out. Suddenly, many are saying, I didn't like it either. Americans of European descent are discriminated against in their own country. Without points for ethnicity and gender orientation, it's much harder to get a job that matches your education and experience. This is new overseas. For us, it's an old thing, from the communist era. Just as we had exclusion during the communist era because of ethnicity. Before that, under Biden, such exclusion applied to heterosexuals and white people, and today Donald Trump wants to end that. In 2011, Barack Obama signed an executive order introducing these policies into the U.S. federal administration. After several years, the cost of the policy was in the tens of billions of dollars. On the 20th of January, with one stroke of the pen, Donald Trump will end it.
With the stroke of my pen on day one, we're going to stop the transgender lunacy. And I will sign executive orders to end child sexual mutilation, get transgender out of the military and out of our elementary schools, and we will keep men out of women's sports. And that will likewise be done on day one.
Perhaps today we do not yet fully realize the consequences that this election will bring. Americans have recognized that the follies of political correctness are a road to nowhere. Even the liberal media in the U.S. today are writing about elites intimidated by extreme leftist ideology. How could we let this happen, they ask. Meanwhile, the plague of equality has reached Poland, and the terms used by leftist educators do not exist in our language. The entire left in Poland are ideological calques, stolen from the West. They dream that there will be immigration of people from Africa or the Middle East to Poland, so that there can finally be racism in Poland, and so that they can fight this racism. Tons of paper printed with sublime gibberish about equality and inclusiveness, thousands of hours of training, billions of dollars to fight discrimination, and all for nothing. It ended on the 5th of November, and now it will disappear like a bad dream.